What's up? So I just finished watching this hour and 10-minute long Some More News video about Ben Shapiro. I have to say, it wasn't as much of a waste of an hour of my life as I thought it would be. But I do have to rebut, just because the reason I even watched this video is the boldness of the title. Perhaps Ben Shapiro shouldn't be taken seriously by anyone about anything. That's it? That's the whole title? Yep, that's the title. So, you shouldn't listen to Ben Shapiro video. Why? Okay. You know, I just really feel like there could have been 1,000 better ways to title this video. Now, I'm not a huge fan of Ben Shapiro. I clicked on this video because I felt that the attitude of, hey, you shouldn't listen to somebody, right, is kind of a height of censorship that we're getting to, where, hey, we're going to ask, maybe a person didn't get removed, but you just put a message to the community, oh, don't listen to such and such. They've said such crazy things or done such crazy things where they shouldn't have any type of accountability. You know, I'm not a reporter. I do research in my spare time sometimes. But that is me searching for understanding something, you know? And that's just what I like to do with my spare time. Now, I think that a lot of the points that are brought up in the video are pretty valid. But it could be kind of wrapped up easily into just saying, hey, Ben Shapiro, Mr. Smarty Pants, who's done so many XYZ great things since his youth, and he's obviously such a good human, right? Maybe think about what you're saying more before you just spew it out of your mouth, fast as you go. That's what I think. Because really, you say things like you would hang out with the guy. You don't want to hurt the guy, obviously. It's just the title of the video. And you got me. I watched it. I spent an hour. And a lot of your points are kind of some of the reasons that I don't like Ben. The reasons that I don't like Ben are, number one, he's just kind of annoying to me. I'm sorry, right? He reminds me of people that I've met in real life whom I do not like and get along with. That's just how it is. I'm sorry about that. It's not appealing to me. I've never met him. I'm not going to say he's a bad dude or anything like that. I've seen some of his videos. I think he can be funny at times. I think it's true that some of the stuff he does is funny. I think it's sad where we are with comedy and what you're allowed to find funny nowadays, especially what you're allowed to say. It's really frustrating that there is some type of inclusion culture where, oh, we want to include everybody and we want people not to be racist or not to have any type of racist beliefs. Look, it's okay to be racist. It's okay to have racist beliefs, even. I feel like you're allowed to be your own person. You have an experience with a group of people who are of a certain race and they impact you negatively, you're going to, bring that experience to the table next time you're encountering that type of group, regardless of the situation. I mean, that's just reality, something being added into you. I'm not going to blame somebody who got beat up by 5 black dudes after they left a bar for being a little bit more judgmental around black dudes. I get it. But at the same time, it you have to see if you're, offending the people around you, and if you are and you want them to be comfortable, you have to make that right. Right? That's just like the social obligation. And that is not something that we really talk about. We just say, oh, you're a bad person for doing this, you're a bad person for doing that. Look, if everybody gets home at the end of the day and nobody ends up hurt, that's what is important, right? And I know that it's rough to say you might get offended by shit through the day, but it's like I was raised, told by everybody, the people out there are not going to be nice to you. They're going to be rude. They're going to come down. They're going to call you an asshole. That I was raised for a default world where people cuss into your face. That's what my mom taught me. That's what she said. People are going to be rude to you. They're going to tell you to go away. They ain't going to give you a job. They don't know you. Right? Am I wrong? We are getting to a new age where people should be allowed to say different things and have different opinions. I don't think you should want somebody to not be listened to because they have certain opinions. It's important that it's available to know what the general population is looking at, regardless of whether or not Ben Shapiro is someone you agree with. You should want him to exist. You should want as many creators of content across the spectrum to exist as possible. That way, a potential voter could find information via a multitude of streams. Now, hopefully we can get to a system one day where you can kind of get categorized without getting pigeonholed. That's something that's tough nowadays. You kind of say something that's different than what the general view is, and then you get pushed away a little too far, I feel like sometimes. We need to take it back a step in discussion very often is what I feel. In this video, some more news people really, they say all these things like Ben Shapiro is a racist. Okay, if he's a racist, I get that. And saying stuff is bad, sure, but it's different than doing stuff. If he's not hurting anybody, there's nothing we can or should do. We should let him be, because there should be the freedom of choice. People should be allowed to choose to follow someone who doesn't know what they're talking about. I, through a series of videos that I watched from the dude, went from a level of thinking he was kind of alright, thinking he's kind of a smart guy, and then I start hearing him later on, I'm like, okay, it really didn't seem like he had his opinions thought out to me in the first place. It seems like an opinion a lot of people could get to from his content on their own. I could. So why say, oh, don't listen to him? No, everyone should have their own level of judgment about who they can and can't listen to. You should never take something someone says at full face value. That's what I feel like. Maybe I'm just brought up in the world untrustworthy, but you gotta see for yourself, kind of. And the thing about Ben Shapiro is maybe he made a couple of videos where he's very anti-Muslim. But the reality is, the last war the country had was a war in the Arabic world. And there are individuals that exist there who will scream death to America and who do not like, white Christians who especially, are middle class and successful. They will not, deal business with these people even. I've seen these interactions. These people do exist, and they have a right to exist. There have been things that have been done wrong by that group of people, in the past. And maybe it's bad to go on stories from your ancestors, but I understand it as well. We really just can't stop anyone until they start doing harm. That's the thing. Is saying something is different than doing it, In the same way that someone as a significant other who doesn't end up staying with you is going to say that they love you or something, it's like people can lie. Saying is different than doing. You have to realize that bad views have to be put out there because brains have to make it to conclusions. And there's a really gray area. Some decisions are hard to make. Maybe 1,000 people have to think about it before we really decide as a humanity, hey, this is what it is. I don't know. See, I personally disagree with Shapiro on mainly abortion. You want to say that, oh, abortion is always wrong because you're killing the baby. Okay, but, it's really easy to stay hypothetical in the singular moment. But what about taking it further? That baby has to grow up in an environment. What if you don't have any room? You don't have any money, really. You really have no money, and you're pregnant right now. Like, you have $0 in your bank account. Ben Shapiro, can you imagine that? Do you know what it's like when you still got bills and you got to go out and grind, and you got to find a way to fucking pay for your shit because you have no money? And oh wait, somebody didn't put on a condom. They lied to you. Whatever. I'm not here to blame a young woman for making a decision. Because that's the thing, right? It's just a decision. If you make the decision that you want to get that procedure done with your body, the law isn't what's going to be stopping you. Okay? Because you're in the situation where it's not possible, right? I understand that. And in the same way that person who hates me has to be allowed to exist, that person who makes a decision I disagree with has to be allowed to exist. So, whatever. And still, why would you want a baby to grow up in a house where it can't afford to get fed? It's not even necessarily that it's a fault of the parent. Maybe they're already in a situation where they're paying back debt so deep that it's just, what are they supposed to do? Oh, you need them to call the government, get their handouts, whatever. What if it doesn't come fast enough? What if, they get caught up with some people who tell them, oh, they can make money doing this and that, and then they end up getting taken advantage of? This is reality, bro. People make decisions. That's really all we are. And if you're not hurting anybody that is already out here contributing to society, then I can't say I have to have a problem with you. If you go out into the world and you're thinking, fuck so-and-so, this group, that group, and you're putting your energy into any type of negativity, you should not be trying to bring anybody else down. You should try to be putting yourself onto a trajectory where you can get higher as an individual and rise above all the bullshit that goes on around you. Right? I don't feel like we have to, have some type of, hey, don't listen to so-and-so opinion also. Ben Shapiro has made a good point on a few different things. And I have to say that the video that I watched, I don't know, man. I think I got it all out of my system. I think I got it all I talked for 4 more minutes than I anticipated. I don't know what I'm going to do with this. Shouts. Ben Shapiro's an idiot. Some more news. Also idiot. Please, come to your own conclusions, people. Just let things be put out there, you know? Like, yeah, it's easy to say that you want to censor this dude's words and what he says. But, like, what about when someone starts wanting to censor art? Like, just let people do whatever, man. And deal with the consequences of their actions. Just believe in consequences. That's what I do. You know? If he goes so far that he does something stupid, he will face consequences. You know? I don't know. Anyway. I hope everybody has a nice day. Peace out. How do I stop this? That's not how you stop.